Hey, welcome back to the Victory 4x4 Garage. My name is Daryl. Today we're shooting a supplemental installation video for the 03 to 09 4Runner, the 4th gen 4Runners, for our strike front bumper. We have a full video on installing the strike front bumper on various platforms, but there's a couple little things you're going to do on these model years that we're going to show you right here. If you're installing our strike front bumper on an 03 to 05 4Runner, here are the specific steps you need to know. The first thing you have to do is grab the bumper fascia that you removed, and there's a black trim piece right here that we have to extract from it. From the bottom, you're going to see clips, these black clips right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them, and it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little brown clips. So the first thing you want to grab is a flat blade screwdriver, and from the front of the fascia, I guess, you're going to see a clip here. Go ahead and push that clip back and just work your way down, unsnapping the brown clips and the black clips as you go. Take your time and you won't break anything. Oh, that one was already out. We don't really need these little clips, but we'll go ahead and just leave them in there just in case. So we're going to extract this piece, and then we can get rid of this whole bumper fascia. This is an optional step, but it's going to make this trim piece look a lot nicer. We're going to trim off these tabs because you'll be able to see them from the front when they're installed. I'm just using these big pair of like shears. You could use tin snips, you could use a Dremel, you can probably use regular scissors. It's just plastic. So just going to work down this piece here and just snip them off right in the corner, just so they're flush with the bottom. Then you won't be able to see them from the front of the vehicle once this piece is installed. The back parts, these right here, you can't see, you can just leave those. Another optional step is once we bolt that little trim panel on, a little bit of this steel is going to poke through. So if you want, you can just trim it. There's a ledge right there. Just trim at that ledge. I'm going to use tin snips for this. You could use a Dremel. You could use a Sawzall. You could use basically whatever tools you have available. It's not super thick, so snip should cut through it with a little bit of effort. And then just touch the front end of that up with some black paint. So we're going to go ahead and relocate this panel now on top of these supports. We're going to give you 3 aluminum spacers, and those go right on top of the holes on those supports. And then this little plastic piece will sit on top of those aluminum spacers. It'll kind of make sense once you get it here. You're going to want to make this panel flush with the sheet metal underneath the headlights, as flush as you can get it. And then we're actually going to drill up through the bottom of these, through the spacers, and through these plastic pieces. You're going to want a 1/4-inch drill bit or bigger. And once you get everything lined up kind of the way you want it, go ahead and drill up from the bottom. And we're going to give you these long stainless button head 1/4-inch bolts. Those go from the top, and then a flange nut goes from the bottom. So I'd recommend drilling these one at a time and just tightening those bolts hand tight. Kind of get them where you want it. Do the same thing on the opposite side, line it up where you want it. Watch your fingers when you drill up through these, obviously. So the 03 to 05 4Runners had the turn signal and the marker light in the bumper itself. So we've included provisions on all of the 4th Gen 4Runner bumpers for that turn signal and marker light. In the bolt kit, we're going to include a 3/4 inch grommet mount light you can use as a marker light and a turn signal. It is two function. And we're going to include black plastic caps as well. So if you have a newer model 4Runner and you don't want to run these caps will snap into those holes. They'll look really seamless. Or you can use these as a running light or whatever you like in those newer models. But for the 03 to 05, you're going to want a turn signal up front. I'm going to show you how to wire those. Depending on your options on your 03 to 05 4Runner, you're going to see 2 connectors here on each side. The brown connector is going to be for your driving lights, your fog lights, and this gray connector here is going to be for your turn signals. So we're just going to lop this connector off. We're not going to need it anymore, so grab some snips and just pop that off. And then you may want to shorten this little plastic wire cover here just to make your life easier. We'll slide that off just for now for ease of showing you how to do this. So you're going to see a white black wire and a red yellow wire. This may vary based on year. This is just what we're seeing on ours. To be sure, go ahead and use a voltmeter to make sure which is the ground and which is the positive. But in our instance, the white black is going to be the ground wire and this red yellow is going to be the positive wire. So we're going to take our wire strippers here and we're going to strip some wire off each of these and we're going to twist the strands of wire here. We're going to give you some heat shrink quick connectors here in the kit. Go ahead and crimp those on these wires. Just like that. All right, we're going to give you some LEDs here. They're actually dual function. There's a brighter function and a dimmer function. The white wire is always going to be the ground. The red is the brighter function and the black is the dimmer function. We're probably just going to use the white and the red in this situation. So we're going to go ahead and strip off some of these wires like so. And then we're going to use the other end of the crimp connectors, or I'm sorry, the quick connectors on these. And we'll crimp these on. Once you crimp them, be sure to give them a tug to make sure that they're secure. And then we'll connect these before we heat shrink them just to make sure everything's working fine. So the white will go to the white on our 4Runner here. Your mileage may vary on that. And the red will go to the red. Like I said before, the red and the black are your positives on this light. The whites are the grounds. Let's test this and see if our wiring works. On these earlier 4Runners, if you want to use these as a running light as well, you would take this black wire and you would tie it into your running light wire, which is up here on the corner of the headlight. So you'd have to pull that harness out and run a wire between these. That's totally optional. If you want to run these on the 06 to 09 4Runner, you have to do that for all of your wires. So you would tie these wires into your blinker and running light bulbs that are in the headlight assembly. So for now, we're not going to use that black wire, so we're just going to go ahead and tape it off. And then we'll use a heat gun to shrink these connectors. And for a little extra weatherproofing, we'll go ahead and just tape all these wires together. To install these LEDs, you can go ahead and pull the grommet off. They'll slide in from the back like that. Take the grommet and push it over the light. That way you don't have to disconnect any wires or anything like that. Go ahead and push the grommet into the bumper. And then there's a spot on the light marked top. That's just for the reflector. So go ahead and align the top to the top. And then push that LED into the grommet. You might have to work it around a little bit, but it'll eventually go in there nice and snug. You can use some WD-40 or any sort of water or lubricant if you have to, if it's fighting you a little bit. Like the top of this one is. There we go. Go ahead and push that in there, and you can tie up the wiring on this side and go ahead and do the same on the other side. If you're wearing fog lights, it's going to work the exact same way. On this truck, the white will be the ground, the green will be the positive. Just chop those off, and you can wire these directly into whatever fog light harness you're using. You can also search the internet for your year, and there's probably a conversion harness, or there's a harness that you can plug into and piggyback into those. But if you're never going to use the factory fog lights again, you can just go ahead and cut these connectors off and save yourself some time. If you have any questions about this install or any install here at Victory 4x4, give us a call, 269-459-8447, or email us at info@victory4x4.com. Thanks for watching.